In this video, we're going to go through page 19, Geological Geometry 2, and we're going to do question 1. So this is all part of the higher level section. So it's very important again to read the question all the time. So we're told ground contours are 5 meters. So there's 35, 30 and so on. ABC are on the centre line of the roadway, ABC. We're told a roadway is level from A to B. So it runs level and it's at a height of 30. So I've wrote in A at 30, B is also at 30. So you can write that in now as well. The road then rises from B to C at a rate of 1 in every 7.5. So what that's saying is for every 7.5 you walk, the road will raise 1. So if I was to walk 75, it would raise 10. So for every 7.5 you walk, it raises 1. Using side slopes 1 and 1.5 for cuttings. So the important thing is the cut ratio there is 1:1.5. Complete the earthworks necessary to accommodate the roadway. And again, it's important to remember the scale. The scale is 1:1000. So we're going to do the level part of the road first. So that's the easiest part. So first of all, the cut ratio is 1:1.5. Now, the intervals are 5. So you can always just do this little drawing on the side. So the intervals are 5, which means that's the height, which means we'll step out, multiply 5 by 1.5 equals 7.5. So the distances here will be 7.5 you step out. That's really important, and it's where students go wrong an awful lot. So I'm going to step out 7.5 and 15. That would be 30, 35, 40, 45. That's why you need that. So lightly draw in your contours. I'm going to label them over here on the side. So the roadway is at 30. So the next one out, which is 7.5 because of the question, next one out will be 35. Then it will go 40. And then it will go 45. Now we need to find our points on the curve. So we know 30 is there. 35, 40, 45, 40, 35, and then we can see 30 is down here. Follow that contour up, and 30 is actually there then. Lightly draw your curve. Now a lot of people's curves the last few times have been very thick, so lightly join it first. We're going to leave it all lightly for a second. Now 35 then again is also over here. 40 is there. And 45 is over here. So we're going to draw those in. Now don't heavy anything else in because we'll have to join it in here later on. So for the moment, let's keep it light. That is the level part of the roadway. Let's do below this, the road on the south side. 7.5, 15, 7.5, keep it all nice and light. Again, make sure to label So that's 30 roadway. This one will be 35, 40, 45. That's all we need for the moment. So where's the cut then? So 35 is here. 30 is in at the road. 40 is here. Then it goes. So your 40 is there. Then 45. Then 40 is there. 35. 30. I'd like to draw that part. We'll have you all this in a second. Now we need to find then, so we have 35 here again. We have 40 out here. And 45 there. We probably won't need that. So lightly just join the dots there for a second. We won't be using all those lines. So that is the level part of the road. That's the easiest part. And so now we'll move on to do this next part. So you treat it in different sections. Alright? So you imagine that was basically kind of one little question we had here. Now we're going to forget about this part and we're going to focus on this. Alright, so even though it's obviously the road is turned, but it doesn't matter because now we can just treat this as our 0 mark and answer this as a kind of a new question. So the road rises from B, which is at 30, to C at a rate of 7.5. So the handiest thing to do is multiply that by 10. So it will raise 10 meters if you walk 75. So if I measure over here 75, that is now your point C. Sorry, no, C is here. But that is your next point. Alright, that is a point along, call it D. That is the point I'm going to be working off of. And that is at, so it's raised 10, that is at 40. Alright, so that point. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we need to, because it's rising, okay, the cut cone, this is a rule from the last few days. Alright, there's not much space. So we just put in a cut cone, but it's always at the low end of the road. Cut cone always goes at the low end of the road. So we need to work out the base of the cone. Alright, so the distance travelled, or the elevation gained, is 10 because it goes from 30 to 40. So if it was a ratio of 1:1, our base cone would be 10. But it's not, it's 1.5. So we multiply 10 by 1.5 and we get a base angle, or base radius of 15. So what we do is we extend, like we've done already, make sure the row is extended on. And now we assume, like I said, like a different question. So we go at 90 degrees to the road. And draw a line perpendicular out to this point. And the same for B. So it's probably hard to see now in my visualizer, but the center of my cone will be here. And also it'll be a little bit in. So it'll be kind of like a fake center here. So it won't be the actual corner of the road. It'll be a small bit in because we go at 90 degrees to the edge of the road through B. And that is your center. Take radius 15. Draw your base cone. Keep it nice and lightly. A lot lighter than what I'm drawing. We draw our best fit tangent. I'm going to do the upper side of the road first. Draw your best fit tangent back to 40. I'm just going to extend it on a bit as well. So that is 40. Now, again, it's the same. So it steps out 7.5. Enough. Draw lines parallel. Keep it all nice and light. I'm going to label them over here. So 40 is here. Then, because it's cut, alright, it'll go the opposite, okay? So that'll be 40. This is 45. 50. And we don't actually have a 55, so that should be enough. So then we're going to go find our contours. So we look for 40. Where's across the 40 contour? It will cross there. Actually, I want to mark these in a different colour. So that will be 40. We also have 40 here. Then goes 45 next. And we have a 45 followed down. 45 there. 50 is next. Follow 50 over. Follow 50 down. And we have two 50s there. That's it for the moment. You can lightly join the dots. And we're going to need to go one below the road in order to find 35. We might even need to do two. So this is the 40 line coming back in. I hope this is, you can see this properly. 7.5 back in. Draw a line parallel. Where it crosses 35, this is a 40, this will have to be a 35. Where it crosses, extend it on. Alright, so I'm just going to complete the upper side now. Just make it a little bit more clear, it might help you understand a bit more. So, I'm going to draw it in pens, so the curve might be fantastic, but you draw them with your H pencil. So, once you've done it lightly, And now, where both curves intersect. So we had a curve that went from there out to here, and now this curve is intersecting, coming across. So we only heavy it as far as where the curves intersect. It stops there, and now the other curve starts. And also a mistake I saw a few be making the last few questions. You don't heavy it in. You only heavy it as far as it reaches the edge of the road. Even though this curve is drawn lightly, you don't heavy it any further. One point where it meets, where these two curves intersect, what we do is we draw an angle line back to the edge of the road. So from the point that it intersects, an angle from there goes back to the corner of the road. That is drawn in heavy. Alright, so once we're happy with that, then we do our lower end of the road, and it's the very same process. So I'm going to let you go try that yourself. Once you've done it, I want you to go and check DCG solutions to make sure you've done it right. And also the one thing at the top of the road I haven't put in is I haven't put in my tadpoles to show that it's they're going uphill. So if you want to do this in red pen or red pencil, you can, but just keep them nice and neat. You don't have to do too many. Keep them kind of perpendicular to the edge of the road. Roughly the same distance apart. Alright, and then make sure you've heavied it in nice and neatly. Keep it as neatly as possible, okay? So go ahead, try, finish off. So you need to heavy in this lower end of the road, and you need to do the very same thing. You have your cut cone, you have to join it back to 40, you put on your contours, so you're going from 40, so that's your tangent. So then it'll go 45, 50. Draw your curve, it'll probably be somewhere close to the edge of the road. Again then, I have this light curve drawn from the last one. So wherever your next one comes in and crosses it, it will go from heavy, it'll probably cross somewhere like that. It'll go heavy and it'll start a new curve. So this was all part of the first one. And then where it crossed over, you have a point, join it back to the edge of the road and go from there. Alright, so I'll stop the video and see how you get on now with that.